invitation. Distant us into the reservation. Default the pistol that you pay for. Just pump the feeling that you stay for. In time I want to be your best friend. Eastside love is living on the west end. Knocked out before you better come to. Don't die, you know the truth is some do. Go write your message on the pavement. Burn so bright, I wonder what the wave meant. Kickstart the golden generate hub. Sweet talk but don't intimidate hub. Can't stop the gods from engineering. Feel no need for any interfering. Your image in the dictionary. This life is more than ordinary. Can I get two, maybe even three of these? Coming from a space to teach you of the Pleiades. Can't stop the spirits when they need you. This life is more than just a read through.
That's a good note to get this started, folks. This life is more than just a read through. I'm very excited to have you all here. We're expecting a bunch of people. I'll let them join in as we start talking. I don't want to wait too long and have you bored. Although I had, I hope you liked. I hope you like the music. I am a big time RHCP fan. So the next two webinars will also be RHCP. We actually have this thing going where we start each webinar with a nice peppy track to get everybody else in the groove and me in the groove. Okay, so we're going to talk about email marketing today. You know, we were double mind when we were doing this topic for the webinar. And I'll tell you why. Wow, Dale, you've seen RHCP. That's awesome. You're lucky. So the reason we were double mind about this webinar is to give you some, kind of background on ConvertCard. We are a company that specializes in two things. Conversion rate optimization for e-commerce. So how do you make more money from the traffic you already have? And the second is email marketing. And we are great at both of those things, but we always feel that email marketing is something really boring. Nobody wants to hear more about email marketing, what more you could do with it, how you could do more with it, and so on and so forth. So before I even jump into this, I'll give you 2 or 3 learnings that we have had that make email marketing worth your while. And this session worth your while. Okay, so we are essentially managing email marketing for a series of our customers, some really large brands, including some really small ones. So all sizes of customers, ranging from people with email list sizes of as small as 10,000 and going up to a few million. And I'll just give you a few metrics that will probably make you rethink about email marketing and the revenue you should drive from it. Those are, the first is you should ideally be driving anywhere between 20 to 30% of your total revenue from emails. So if you're not doing that, I would encourage you to go log into Google Analytics and see how much it is. If it's 2 or 3 or 4%, you can literally 10x it. And that's also something that we see with people when they sign up with us, is that a lot of them have never thought that way. Of this total 20-30% of the revenue you should be driving from email, 60% should be workflows. And I'm going to talk about building amazing workflows today. I'm going to give you some examples. The content of the webinar is interesting, but a lot of the insights I'll give you are directly from our customers. So I just want to make sure that you get as much value as possible, and especially a few things that you can just, at the end of this webinar, you can just go and change in your email marketing setup. The other insight that's really important is email is extremely underrated also, because it is the cheapest way for you to get transactions, right? You can pay Facebook and Google to get customers, new customers. You can invest a lot of money in SEO, let agencies take you for a ride and so on and so forth. But it's not gonna be as high ROI as emails. The average customer with us spending on emails sees 40, 50, 60 times in return. And the whole reason is because, I want you to stop looking at our email list as just someone or a group of people you can engage using email drips or just kind of spam them, right? I want you to look at that as an owned audience, right? So that's audience that your brand owns. Nobody can take that away from you. Engaging that audience for you is fully in your control. It's probably the cheapest way for you to get in front of people. And that too, get in front of people who want to hear from you. They opted in to hear from you. And as long as you get it right, These people will be loyal customers for you. They'll want to buy from you. They'll want to be with you. Now, if you look at the email marketing problem statement in that way, you suddenly start to, look at it with a little bit more love, a little bit more care, instead of just dragging, dropping a few templates and, kind of spamming people. You wouldn't believe how many companies I've seen that have set up their cart recovery or their browse recovery flows and have never looked at them. The average customer I see has, they have that copyright message at the bottom of their email design, and that says copyright 2021, or they have like their old office address on it. So it's unfortunate. I think email is extremely underrated, and I'm going to walk you through some examples. So what we've done also is we have a lot of visual examples of the emails that I really like or we really like. My team obviously helped me put together a lot of these examples, so power to them, and thanks to them. But I think one of the important pieces is to make sure that we learn from this and we try and implement as much of this as possible. Okay, and I have a freebie for everyone at the end of the call, so stick around, watch all the examples. The worst you're going to get from this is good-looking emails. So I hope it's useful. So we'll split the conversation into two parts. The first is make every email compelling. No brand wants to look bad. Everybody focuses too much on design. I'm going to talk a lot less about design. I will talk about design, but I'm going to talk about the material, the content that goes into each email. Okay. And then we'll go to building workflows. So I'm going to give you some ideas on the kind of workflows you should be doing and some examples of people doing them. So I'm not going to construct or make workflows, take you to a backend and do that. Okay. I'll also add another last advice is stop looking at open and convert revenues. Okay. We also report those to our customers. But open and convert revenues are interesting, right? You sent an email to say 100,000 people on a Monday. Out of that, 40,000 people opened the email, and some 2,000 people bought. Out of the entire 40,000 people, 2,000 people bought in the following 7 days. Now, they might have seen you on an ad. They might have seen you on a search result. Their friend might have brought it up. They just remembered coming back to you. But when you look at any email dashboard, it would say all of these 2,000 transactions are because you sent an email to the 100,000 people. Whereas click and convert, and we've written a really interesting post about this. I'll send that to everyone after this call. Click and convert is when somebody clicks on the email you sent to them and they convert in that same session. So there is a very direct attribution to you sending emails. So it's very, very, very important that you start tracking that metric and just try and get your hands on that data, as soon as possible after this call. Okay, so let's dive right in. I want to talk about the first part first, which is how you can make every email very compelling. I have some 20 ideas to walk you through. I'm going to jump into the first one, and this is very unconventional, which is send emails for just one reason. I think brands don't do this enough. I know that everybody does cart recovery and a bunch of other things. Yes, you will. But there might be a long delay, and we generally don't publish the recording for a long period of time. So feel free to throw questions into the chat if you want me to answer them. Otherwise, there's a Q&A section as well. Okay. So more than one ask obviously breeds confusion. I see a lot of brands putting in their categories. They're trying to do a few offers. They're trying to do 4 products. Here is what you forgot in your cart. Here are 5 other options. If not, here are amazing categories that our brand also does. And the other thing that they do, which I'll talk about in my 3rd or 4th point, I think, is that they clutter it too much. So I just wanted to think. So not only cart abandonment, which is the example that you see here for Yeti, which is an amazing brand. I love it. I have a sticker of Yeti on my laptop. But I really, really feel brands need to think about achieving one thing at a time with their campaigns. So when you're doing, even if it's promotional campaigns, if it's seasonal campaigns, if it's holidays, achieve one thing in one email and do it extremely well. And that will automatically change the way you do emails. Okay. I don't want to spend too long on each point. I have 20 points. I intend to spend 90 seconds on each, 30 minutes of me talking, and then we'll have a lot of time for you to ask questions. And I'll try and gift back some of the time that you've given us. So I'll probably not take the entire hour. Okay. The other thing is, further to what I've already said, too many CTAs is probably not a good thing. I'll tell you a very interesting way to do many CTAs further in this conversation. That's probably going to be very interesting for you, depending on what industry you're from. You can obviously not do it for every email, but for the central focus is no distractions. You have to understand, and I think just think about it. When you started your day-to-day, I'm sure you went through your emails. I'm sure you went to the promotions tab as well if you split your Gmail inbox that way. How much time did you spend on it? When you opened the promotional email, how much time did you spend on it? Probably 5 seconds. Maybe put it in the chat. Tell me, how much time did you spend looking at a promotional email the last time you looked at it? A few seconds. And the problem with that, 2 seconds, right? So the problem with that is so if you see what Oculus is doing here, is it is talking about their product, and there's a buy now CTA. I've given an example that's very simple. If you were, for example, doing an email for the 4th of July, I would have just one CTA. I would not have 15 products with buy now or add to cart in each of them. I would have 15 products. I can have a collection in an email, but I would do it extremely well. And I'll show you how to do that. Okay. So give the reader just one CTA, just one option to click, and that should be a job well done itself. This is a really easy one. Everyone loves the sound of their name. Include their name. You can actually go a few levels higher. I don't know, but when we looked at our own customers before we got into the email business, I was surprised at how many of them were not doing birthdays, anniversaries, how many of them were not publishing and sending. For example, for customers that gave you amazing reviews, how they were not rewarding them on a first name basis, right? Hey, Jack, I love you. Thank you so much for giving me this amazing 5-star review. There's a fantastic coupon for you to order again and such. And the other thing is these names, they go unnoticed for the most part. There's a hotel chain called Yotel, and it's a budget hotel, tiny rooms. And I was transiting recently. I think it was in New York, and we stayed there for a night. And their emails are phenomenal. So I request you to go and sign up for their email so that you kind of see what they're doing. I think they have a good brand team that's allowing them to do that. But that email looked like I was compelled to read the email because I felt it was written for me. I felt it was written with me in mind, my journey in mind. And they understood I stayed just one night. So they made the rest of the content very relevant to that. So, make sure that you're using these fields that are available to you. We have a customer that is a unique business in the way that they have both B2C and B2B businesses. So they're in the hardware business. And they have a sales CRM. So our system is integrated to their sales CRM. Every time a salesperson makes a sale, our system picks it up. 60 days later, an email goes from that salesperson, from that Ryan@client.com, to the customer saying, hey, Aaron, I just bought something from you. You just bought something from us. How's it going? I hope your experience was great. Is there anything I can do to, kind of get you the next version of this? So the personalization can actually go several levels if your systems can talk to each other. So put in the effort to do that. I think the dividends are more than worth it. A large city. So I think this is something I'll actually send a few more examples. We'll send a post your way, which I think we've covered some 40 different email templates, on our blog. We have a really, really good blog. So I would recommend you check it out. So if you see this email, for example, it's David Steve, there's still time. There's only one CTA, which is shop now. And then if you want to dive in further, you go down, right? So this email is purely solving for one purpose, which is recall, right? So you will have many such tiers you will set up. So on the top, which is the highest level tier, is recall, where you're trying to solve. If you look at the marketing, awareness, consideration, decision, you're solving for the top part of the funnel. You're just focusing on awareness. You're just trying to make more people aware and remind them about your existence. The next is consideration, which is where I would send testimonials, great reviews on the product, probably a deal, an offer which is specific to them. These are people who are what I call healthy skeptics. They're thinking about you. They think they need it. They want to buy it. They want to try the tea, but they're not there yet. And you can help them get over the fence. The decision is generally just coupons. If you don't do coupons, that's completely fine. The other way to do decision is to, when you launch a new product, for example, do a wait list, give people FOMO of some kind. So I'll talk about another very good example with giving FOMO. But my point is, large CTA, one objective. So far, if you see what I've covered is large CTA, one objective, no confusion. Take their name, personalize the email. So just those 4 things will make your email go to the next level. Smarter discounts, right? This is exactly what I was saying, in relevance to the funnel step that somebody is in. We've saved thousands of dollars for our customers by not letting them send like throwaway discounts, 20% off to somebody who just signed up to the email list. Somebody who signed up to your email list on the homepage, 10 seconds after entry, and I know some of you are running that pop-up. So first of all, don't run that pop-up. That's my first advice. What to do, I'll tell you later. But somebody who signed up to your email list 10 seconds into the website does not need 20% off. Okay. They've probably not even gone to the product page. They probably are not even a qualified customer for you. You're just throwing it away. And then something like Honey or something else will pick it up and somebody else avails that coupon, not the person you send it to. So you're giving too much money away. And you really want to make sure you cadence your discounts in a way that your highest, most engaged customers, who are your healthy skeptics, are the most rewarded. Somebody who's at the bottom of the funnel, right? Somebody who's already convinced, a checkout abandoner, right? Their problem generally is bigger than a discount. It is either shipping. If you're selling something that's large in size, it's probably a freight. It could be payment. It could be anything else. It could be delivery time. So first, I would recommend getting into their psyche and understanding. So one of the things we do is we run an exit intent pop-up, which is essentially not a pop-up, it's a survey. So we essentially, if somebody's leaving the site, we run a survey saying, hey, we are sorry to see you go. Would you mind taking a second telling us why you're leaving? The price is too high, shipping is too expensive. Whatever the 5-6 reasons are for your brand. For your brand, it could be I don't understand the product. Right? I got it cheaper on Amazon. Amazon is your biggest competitor in some way, right? It's a channel and a competitor, right? So it gets you sales, but it also takes sales away from your own website. So I'm not sure if all of you are on Amazon, but I'm just I know that's a problem for people who are on Amazon. So you want to cadence your discounts in a way so that you engage the customer, only the right kind of customer with the right kind of discounts. And I'm telling you, you'll save a lot of money. You'll save a lot of money on people. You would not believe how much your customers are willing to pay you, but they're not paying you because the reason is really not the price. So this is me going back to the Getty example. And one of the things I really like about them is I see some interesting CTA, great image, right? Don't let these items fly by in this case. So what you're doing is, for somebody like Sundar, for example, who's spending just 2 seconds on an email, right? This makes somebody like that commit to the email. So what you're doing is when they open the email, first, make sure you test your email on mobile and desktop. I know you're already doing that, but send it to yourself and see it on your phone. Don't see it on the email template, the template manager. Send it to yourself. Do a real test. And what you will see is the moment you open, the reason you only need 2 seconds is because you've already spilled the beans. You already know what's in the email. You see it and you're done. So there's really no reason for you to scroll, to kind of give you the next 2 seconds and then the 2 seconds after that. So think of your email as a 3-step unfolding, right? If you go to your nearest bookstore and look at the best-selling, most-selling books, apart from, of course, something that's written by somebody who's ridiculously famous. Like I think the Prince of UK wrote a memoir recently that went on sale, and it's actually the most selling book of this year so far. But if you look at any other book, it's generally book titles and designs. Prince Harry, that's right. If you look at any book that sells a lot or gets picked up a lot, it's the book covers that spark curiosity. In fact, the reason people bought that book even for Prince Harry is because the curiosity is a very, very powerful feeling, right? So the reason people bought that book is like probably the most famous guy who's left the royal family, goes on to live a normal life in Canada, I believe, with his celebrity wife. What does he have to tell? We need to know his story, right? And curiosity is very powerful. So again, I want to come back to emails. the first part of your email's job is to get people to scroll. The second part is for them to scroll further. And you can sprinkle CTAs across the board and still make the whole thing look civil, right? You don't need to look like an Alibaba Express. Okay. I don't know if you're doing this, but cadence your flows so that you spam non-openers in the right way. ConvertCart platform, for example, has a feature where we are able to, for your entire email list, we record what time somebody opens an email and automatically start sending emails in a batched out way to them at a time when they're most likely to open it, like 5 minutes before when they're most likely to open it, so that it comes up top on the inbox and we know. Like one insight I'll give you is everybody checks their email right in the morning, when they're in the loop. So you will see a lot of your emails are getting opened at 7 in the morning, 6 in the morning. I don't know if you will look at that data. So get into that data and you realize, no, I'm not saying send the email at 6 in the morning, but don't send it at like 12 in the afternoon as well. And that I see a lot of people making that mistake because you're at work. That's the busiest time you are at work and you're sending emails to somebody who's equally busy as you. So think about it. So, send follow-ups to people who have not opened, try a different subject line. I would, in fact, recommend you to go as crazy as possible. So I would recommend you to go as far as saying, I know you didn't open my last email. So here's something even better. So, you kind of build that relationship slowly without really spamming your customers or destroying your reputation. The other thing is people focus too much on sales. I recently met a fashion brand that does an email every day. And they do some kind of sale, some product that go on sale. So their business model is such that they go on sale a lot. So that's okay. It's completely their choice. But the problem with their email system was they had a massive email list, some 300,000 emails, daily emails, only offers. They had never taken the time to add value to those emails. So although they had huge traffic and they had great pop-ups, which were bringing more email IDs to their inbox, to their list. So their list was growing, but because of their emails not being sensitive enough, informative enough, useful being the important word, their unsubscribes are also pretty high. So essentially, over a period of a year, there was zero growth in email list. Okay. And I'm going to digress here. And I'm just going to show you some really, really, really simple math. And I'll just calculate that for you. Okay. So let us just say that as a brand, your email revenue is $30,000. Okay. And your email list size is, you could say, 100,000. Okay. So your revenue per email ID in your list size is 30 cents. Okay. Now let's say that your site traffic is about 150,000 each month. Okay. So hypothetical numbers. Your opt-in rate on this traffic, or 50% of this traffic is new. So I'm just going to say new traffic. And your opt-in rate on the new traffic is, say, 5%. So pretty average. That means if you collect 3750 emails each month in a year, you gather 45,000 emails. That's what you gather. And because each email ID gets you 30 cents in revenue a month, you're adding $13,500 a month in revenue to your business purely because you're thinking through your opt-in strategy and making sure that your overall list size does not erode because of bad email content, because of non-useful emails. Like in this case, what I'll give you, in fact, I'll give you an even more powerful example than this one. We have a health supplement client where after you've made the purchase, we essentially help them send dosage reminders. And customers are extremely happy to receive those. Right? So you bought a magnesium supplement. Your body needs it because you get cramps if you don't take. Magnesium shortage is the biggest reason for cramps in cold weather, those leg cramps that you normally get. So you should take magnesium if you have that. But for them, we remind their customers to take their doses on time. And because they do that, they come back and buy again. And it's kind of a win-win in that sense. So make your emails useful. This is how you add multiple CTAs to your email without making them spammy. So if you see, the call to action is not buy now, look at this, go to the category, and so on and so forth. The call to action is something that's relevant to the customer. So it's a question. In this case, select your dog size is the call to action. You could, for example, if you're selling moisturizing lotions, we have a customer that does skincare, and they do skincare for different kinds of skins. And for them, their emails would say, what is your skin type? And you could say it's dry, oily, have a lot of pores, whatever skin types there are. And you would click on that to take you to the category. So the click-through rate is phenomenal on those emails. And we are able to then, create that recall. Also, if you do that, for the 100,000 people that you're sending an email to, and they visit your website, they are now a part of your retargeting audience on Facebook and Google. So your most loyal customers, which are your email list, or people who chose to hear from you, are now engaged in a never before way. So I think this is extremely powerful. We've done this for a bunch of our customers. Gamification, I don't think I need to spend too much time on this. We all know what a spin wheel is. Everybody says they hate spin wheels. Everybody spins the spin wheel too. Okay, so I hate pop-ups myself, but nobody hates a discount. Okay, the richest, somebody who does not like offers will also not pay full price if they have the chance. So I don't want you to kind of give up on your brand identity, but I think there are classy ways of doing it. In this case, for example, 20% off free delivery returns over 30 bucks, and then you've got you've got categories that you're kind of running in the spin wheel. So it's an interesting way to do that. The other thing is, I don't think people do emails to thank their shoppers. This is a really, really interesting thing. If you see what Allbird is, a brilliant brand, Allbird, we can all learn something from Allbird. And one of the things about them is so one of the reasons, my friends bought Allbird is because they felt this company has grown so big. How come I've not tried their product yet? And that's also what happened with Atoms. There's a shoe brand called Atoms. I don't know if you know about them. For them as well, the FOMO was the biggest reason people bought from them. So this is Allbird bragging about themselves, saying thank you. You're one of our 1 million customers now. We have 1 million customers, and that's brilliant. Shopify has started to do those gifts. I don't know if you're aware about it, but YouTube, for example, sends a gift your way if you cross 100,000 subscribers. 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, and so on. And Shopify has started to do that now. So if you reach 100,000 transactions, they send you a silver, shopping bag, and then so on and so forth. So there are some ladder. So you could do that for your customers. Why not? Reward all your customers because you hit a milestone. Look at this email. I just wanted to leave this in because I wanted to just, everything I've told you so far, this is kind of what, you could achieve. Just a reminder, you look good. That's all. Okay. Would you click on this email? It's a yes or no question. You can please leave your answer in the chat. Would you click on this email if it came to your inbox? So this is okay. Probably out of curiosity. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was pointing at. Awesome. All right. Now we're going to go to workflows. So the key to building workflows is actually understanding your data. Unfortunately, the current way in which companies build workflows is they go to their email, they would go to their email provider, hit the new workflow button, see all the workflow options that are available, and then generate whatever they can see. And that's the problem. The real reason you do emails is so that you can engage. So engagement is the real reason you do emails, because engagement can create more revenue for you. For you to know who to engage, you have to know your customers extremely well. For you to know your customers extremely well, you have to track data. You have to make sure that you understand how many of your customers reached the product page, the category page, the cart, the checkout, how many of them searched, what did they search for, what did they really do, right? In this case, for example, really simple. If you see in all the examples I've shown so far, copy is phenomenal. So that you cannot discount good copy. There's no replacement for good copy. Stephen, if you have a question, I wouldn't mind taking it. If you can put it in the chat, I'll take it as we go. So copy goes a long way. Okay. If you see here, who doesn't like puppies? So I think this one is pretty straightforward. This is actually a win-back email. I think win-backs are underrated. Essentially, depending on the kind of business you are in, depending on the kind of brand you are, think about when you want people to buy again from you. What you need to calculate is something called average user latency, which means how much time does it take for your average customer to repeat purchase from you. If you know those number of days, it would say probably be 103.5 days. You need to time your win back email exactly at the right moment, in continuation to that. Replenishment, I already spoke about the health supplement example. We actually did another very interesting case with our customers. With that same customer is we started doing push notifications for them. So although this conversation is about emails, I still have a very interesting use case for push notifications. Safari, Apple recently allowed push notifications on mobile. So essentially, if people are opted into your push notifications when they were using Safari, you would get those notifications on your phone like you get all other notifications, like an Uber Eats notification or a Deliveroo notification, depending on what part of the world you are. And what we did with that is for all health supplement purchasing customers, we would send them dosage reminders. Hey, did you remember to take your magnesium today? And they said yes, and that's it. The notification goes away, no commitment, and they loved it. And then every once in a month, we would say, hey, you'll run out of supplies in the next 5 days. If you order now, it will reach you on time. So I think tying emails into the journey is extremely important, and brands miss out on doing that. So replenishment is a big way of doing that. So if you have a way to do that, fantastic. And then, of course, the journey from here to the checkout should be super easy. So adding to the cart, completing the purchase should be smooth. Browse abandonment is really simple. If you see, this email is a great example of what I've been talking about. Extremely simple. This email does just one thing. It reminds that you saw something. It's thanking you for stopping by, and you could just go in and shop. That's all. So really, really simple. So if you see what's also happening here is I'm layering the advice that I've given so far. I'm layering all of that advice. So I spoke about keeping emails simple. I spoke about personalization. I spoke about several other things. What's happening here is, everybody wants to do cross-sell. So if you see, you can see the customer's name here in the email. Then you have what they had originally bought, which is something that most people don't do. When somebody buys a white shirt and you're trying to sell them a blue jeans, make sure that you first show them the white shirt that they bought. Remind them what they've bought before you cross-sell, because they will have no way to correlate that this is actually a cross-sell, right? So that's the first thing. The second is make sure that you're using data enough. So for example, I know for a fact anybody and everybody who uses Klaviyo has no way of tracking what search term somebody put in the search bar on the website. Why I know that is because for ConvertCut, for example, we originally are a CRO company, right? So we also have our own search platform. So one of the things we are able to do, which is very interesting, is if somebody came to the site and searched for X, we are able to later send them an email saying, hey, I know you searched for this search term and left the website. Here are the search results in an email. It's impossible to achieve that anywhere else. But imagine the amount of personalization that creates for someone. So the email would say, hey, Dale, I know you searched for blue shirts. Here are all the blue shirts we have, right? And Dale is probably shocked about the email itself. The next piece is, holiday emails. So you have to understand that I think all of us invest on ads. ConvertCut invest in ads as well. Our cost per impression around the holidays goes up 3 to 4 times. And I'm sure that happens with you as well. So everything is on fever pitch. Everybody's running offers. Everybody's running discounts. Everybody wants to run the most ads. Everybody also makes the most money during that time. But what are you doing for your emails to stand out? And I think copy is everything, and images are everything. So people underestimate how well they can use copy and images. So if you see this email, I don't know, I would request you to kind of go into your email inbox today. Just look at 10 other promotional emails you've received, and you will automatically know that an email that has outrageous, you could say, visuals will automatically stand out and will automatically get the clicks. But the idea is to stay on theme and let the copy and the images do the job. Okay. So if you see, this is something that's kind of the theme I'm also trying to push you towards, is there is no replacement for humor, right? And there's no replacement for personalization, right? In a group as well, you can make that happen. In a large group as well, you can make that happen. So if you see, for example, what's happening here is, hey, we still couldn't find your product, still out of stock. But here's what we recommend for you. After 14 days of searching, we were still unable to find it. So this is somebody who, generally, when somebody opts in to a out of stock reminder, they never get an email. I've never received an email, only maybe rarely, someone of a website reminding me that something's back in stock, you can buy and buy, come back and buy it. Because I probably ignore it, something like that. But here's a great way of engaging people if the product doesn't come back in stock. So another interesting thing, people underestimate out of stock. You know what? I think the biggest trust building you can do with a customer is if your product is sold out, right? Like the best, if you go to a farmer's market, I don't know if you have farmer's market wherever you are, or what part of the world you are in. A farmer's market is typically on the weekends. You could go there. It's a nice fair. You could, there's people kind of who put up nice stalls and so on. But the best places to eat will be sold out pretty much halfway through the entire time. So the food is good. That they're running, or that they're busy. So so if you are out of stock, use it to your advantage. It establishes a lot of trust. Still get their information, engage them again. Tell them you empathize with the fact that it's still not in stock, but here are a few recommendations for you. Please stop doing, you forgot this in your cart, here is a 20% off. Just kind of think about it. If you start to approach your cart recovery emails with the thought that, hey, I'm not going to send a discount to everybody who abandons a cart. I'm done with doing that from today onwards. And then reinvent the wheel. I think there's a lot that can be achieved. This is, for example, a mattress brand, called Tufton Needle that's doing this. And they're telling a story about how mattress shopping sucks, and it's really hard to find something you really love. And we want to make sure that you're not stuck. There are 100,000 other people or 1 million other people who are stuck in the same place, and so on and so forth. So there are many ways of doing cart abandonment emails. Cadence your emails, right? For example, you would see, especially for some of these e-commerce conferences or ads for events, generally speaking, they create a funnel. So 2 or 3 months before the event, you would start to see, for example, if it was an RHCP concert, you would start to see, videos, images from their last few concerts, right? So, hey, we're coming back again to your city, come ahead, go ahead and book tickets and so on and so forth, right? The next step would be, they would also kind of give you a walkthrough of the festival, people having fun, some people saying this is the best, safest festival I've ever been to. Then the next level, probably 10 days away from the festival, is, hey, we are running out of the early bird tickets. Now the stage 2 tickets are live. 5 days in, stage 3 tickets are live. You're almost running out. So they're essentially cadencing you through that entire time. Majority of the people don't obviously fall in the stage 2 and stage 3 of tickets, because early bird is like a really small group, and it's supposed to be sold out, and it's supposed to go away. And you're supposed to kind of get that FOMO of early bird running out, and then kind of. So I think you've got to make sure that you rethink the way you cadence your emails. Your cart recovery doesn't have to be one boring email that goes the next day and then another one that goes after that. You could cadence it. You could do a 3 or 4 email cart recovery flow, which is interesting. Finally, and this is my last point, this is actually really powerful. I think not enough brands are taking the advantage of wait lists. So if you have great products that you're working on for the next year, even if it's for the next year, I would strongly. So here is, I'll in fact give you a great hack of creating a Facebook community or creating a Facebook group as well. Okay. Launch a new product. Don't, of course, give it away instantly. Get a wait list in place for that product. Of course, it has to be something exciting, something interesting. Your most loyal customers, people who've already bought from you, people who already know you, if it's a version 2 of a product that you already sell, get them to subscribe to the wait list. When that wait list is about 3-4 people, 5,000 people long, big, add all of those 5,000 people on a Facebook group for your brand, form a community out of your brand, right? Ask your top 10, 20 customers to post in that group and then start giving updates about your brand. The fastest way to create a Facebook community or to get people to be a part of a group is to waitlist them for the same thing, and then everybody is on the same page. The common plane is already established. So I think waitlisting is underrated. Coming soon emails are probably done in a very boring way. The best way is you don't just say, hey, this is coming soon, and that's it. Let them come in. Get them to opt into another list, which is a wait list. And that list, is another opportunity for you to then engage your most loyal customers who are ready to wait for another product that you're launching. Okay. So I just want to close and I want to take questions. Please, kind of think through, put your questions in the chat as I conclude. As I said in the beginning, emails are extremely underrated. They are a channel that you own as a brand. The audience, the entire list is also something you own holistically as a brand. If you don't double down on making sure that you do a good job with engaging that list that you own, these people who've given you unlimited access to spam them, you're doing injustice to their time, to your time. So I really feel emails are underrated. I don't regret one bit doing a webinar on emails. I hope this was of value. So please tell me if this was of value or not. But yes, please take your email seriously. And lastly, for the giveaway, very quickly, we are happy to get into your emails. So whatever you're using, Klaviyo, OmniSend, Drip, etc., just let me know. I'll anyway send the recording of this conversation afterwards. Let me know. We are happy to jump into your email system, your Google Analytics. We will take a look at the data and tell you what kind of money, what kind of extra money you can make. We'll do it for free, no commitment. We don't want you to sign up with us. The audit will be absolutely free. So we are happy to jump in. We'll take a look at what you could be doing more or what you could be doing better with your emails, and you can make more money off of that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I had. Happy to take questions. Okay, perfect. I'll just take this down. Thanks, Alex. We'll be in touch. Any questions, folks? I'm happy to answer something that may be specific to anything that you are doing with emails. I'm going to give us a few more seconds for questions. Otherwise, we can conclude. My honest answer to your question, Dale, and I think everybody can see the question, is 1. Because so you just look at it this way. I'll give you the easiest way to calculate that. How big is your list? How many are you doing each week today? Each time you send an email, how many unsubscribe do you get? So let's say you have a list of 20,000 and you get 300 unsubscribes every time you send so in a month you have 1,200 people unsubscribing. So which means you erode your email list by 5% in a month, which also means your list will stop existing in a year and a half because everybody will have unsubscribed, right? So so if you really think through it, the right number is so that you don't erode your email list. So look at your unsubscribe rate, look at your opt-in rate, and that will tell you your frequency. Generally, the answer should be 1 or 2. It should definitely not be more than 2. Not more than 2 campaigns a week is doable. Beyond that, I think you will erode your list. Your list is your biggest asset, so you should not erode it. What's considered a good open rate? So if you look at MailChimp's open rates, they are talking about really dismal 18, 20%. We have customers that are consistently doing 50% or more on workflows and 30%, 35% or more on campaigns if their email list is large. If their email list is not that large, they're doing 50, 60% or more everywhere. So I really feel open rate is a function of how well, you could say how well kept your email list is. I think it's important for you to have a benchmark. And I think people underestimate how much they need to focus on their subject lines. The other thing is the entire conversation around your email provider. So, Klaviyo for non-enterprise plans, for example, uses a shared IP. So the delivery rates are, on paper, they're great, but those emails are most likely to land in promotion or somewhere else. So I think open rate is there are many reasons for why open rate can be low or high. We use dedicated IPs for our customers, so our open rates are significantly better. We've actually published benchmarks. My head of content is on the webinar, so I think we will send it over to you. If you've not published the benchmarks, we will put them together, and I think the entire team is on the webinar as far as I know. So we will make sure that we publish those benchmarks and send it to everyone. How much customer information should you aim to gain when they initially sign up? More info is equal to more personalization, but can be off-putting when asking customers. You're right. Any thoughts on continuous information collection? Okay, so I'll just talk about how much. I think that really depends on the kind of business you are in. I was talking to a brand yesterday that drives about 65% traffic from paid channels, so a lot of ads. Average time on site is less than a minute. So they are getting people with the attention span of a goldfish, and they definitely cannot ask somebody for their birthday. The right way to do it for a brand that does not have that kind of an audience is to do it in a stepped way. So let's say you do a mystery box, and I'll show you what a mystery box could look like on a client. Just give me a moment. So if you were to do a opt-in for email, the first thing I would do is run the pop-up, collect the email. After you've got that job is done, ask for the birthday as the next step. So if they want to exit the pop-up, that's okay. You still have their email. If they want to go to the next level. So what we generally do is a 5% off if you give me your email, you hit submit, then another 5% off if you give me your birthday as well. So, but I would do it only for customers who've reached as far as the product page, because they are, in the category of those healthy skeptics, people who are considering buying you. So you go to time the pop-up well. So I think how much information you can collect is a function of who you're collecting it from. If it's a highly committed, high time on site customer, it might be possible. And the whole idea around creating these different lists who are a different level of commitment is that. So continuous information collection, for example, for a customer who has completed the purchase, after completing the purchase on the thank you page says, hey, please give us your birthday. We'll send you a solid discount on your birthday. They will be more than happy to give it to you because they've already made the transaction. So I think it's important that you plan it through so we can kind of come up with a strategy, or we can have a discussion about that. We're selling car accessories and parts, and our open and click-through rates are terribly low single digits. Okay, what could be wrong? It could be domain it could be something it could be something fundamental. So why don't you reply to my email when I reach out to you individually, and we'll take a look at what could be wrong. I would recommend you go to MX Toolbox, put your domain in, see if your domain reputation is an issue. Your email provider could be an issue. The email ID you're using could be an issue. So I think low single digits is not good. Also, if this is a list you have purchased, then I'm not surprised. But if this is your own list, then this is obviously. Also, never buy lists. Never ever buy lists. If anybody ever sells you a list, just run in the opposite direction, block them. Purchase lists are going to be extremely detrimental for your business. We have seen cases where someone bought a list and they spammed them, and their domain reputation plummeted instantly. They were never able to recover from it. They had to go to a different domain. So never buy lists. Would you recommend actively unsubbing non-openers after a period of time, or keep them on anyway? That's an interesting point, Stephen. You have to look at open rates, not in the form of campaigns, but in the form of users. So that's what Stephen is telling us to do. So if you have a list of 100,000, you sent a campaign, 40,000 open, that's 40,000 people that opened your email from that campaign. The other 60 might open the next one or the next one over after that. But over the span of a year, out of the 100,000 people that you've sent the email to, some 20,000 have never opened an email in the entire year, right? Should you remove them from the list? Is the email getting delivered to them? Can you do a hygiene check on those emails? We use a service called Million Verifier Unbounce. It's tied into the system. So for client lists, generally speaking, we would run a solid sanity check on bounce and email qualities. So I would take that 20 or 30,000 emails, Stephen, that have never opened your email, put them in Million Verifier, pay the $20 or whatever you need to pay them. And that will tell you how much of that email is crap. Get rid of everything that's invalid, catch all, keep the okay back in your list. And I think that way you can also save some money on your email service provider. Every customer that signs up with us gives us a massive list, right? 200,000, 150,000. And although it's not good for us, ideally what we could do is say, hey, great, you have 200,000 in list size. This is our price. Let's get started, right? Because we have our own email product. We don't use a Klaviyo. So they save money on Klaviyo, they sign up with us. But what we normally do is we first go and run Million Verifier, remove all of the trash emails from their system. And then it turns out the list was actually about 30% smaller. So while we make less money, they are now sitting on a really high quality email set, which when you send email to your open rate is automatically higher. So they get higher ROI from us and it's a win-win. So, a happy customer is fantastic. So that's really the intention there. Any other questions, folks? Are creating email campaigns part of the service? Yes, we do everything. We would go in, come up with the strategy for both promotional emails, which are campaigns every week, as well as workflows, the ones that I spoke about. We would design them, deploy them, run the entire strategy for you. So that's Engage. That's the product. The reason ConvertCard exists as a company is because we learned that great software is terrible software if it is not run by great people. So we offer, for all the software we have as a technology company, we also run it for our customers. So that's really why we exist. So the answer to your question is yes, Stephen. Okay, fantastic. I really hope this was valuable. I know we will obviously send the recordings away, so don't worry about that. I'm so glad that you were all able to make it. I'm happy with the turnout. I think we're going to do another one about emails and go 2 levels deeper, and we'll talk purely about delivery rates, maybe open rates, maybe some benchmarks. So thanks so much for turning up. Thanks so much for taking the time to hearing me out. And yep, all the best. I hope you make a lot of money. I hope email is 80% of your revenue. All right. Have a fantastic weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.